Hello students, today we study ecology 1, and in this connection this is my fourth lecture in which we will study population regulation. Population growth rates are regulated by density of a population. Population density is the number of living organisms living in each unit of area, such as square kilometer. Population regulation is an interaction in population ecology, where members of the different species compete for the same limited resources, leading to a reduction for both individuals, but the most fittest individual survives and able to reproduce. Herbivory is the condition of feeding on plants, for example cows, sheep, goats and horses, etc. Animals are recognized herbivores. Predation, preying of one animals on others. In population ecology, predation is a mechanism of population control. As the number of predator rises, the number of prey declines. Predation is a kind of symbiotic relationship between two organisms of unlike species, in which one of them acts as predator that captures and feeds on other organism that serves as the prey. Interspecific competitions. In population ecology, it is a form of competition in which individuals of the different species compete for the same resources in an ecosystem. Competition between members of the same species is called intraspecific competition. Now, coexistence among living organisms. Living organisms are highly organized in an ecosystem. Coexistence occurs when population of several species that use the same limiting resources manage to persist within the same locality. During coexistence, there is tolerance or no competition among living organisms during foraging on resources in an ecosystem, for example. Now we see what is coevolution. Coevolution is a process of development in which an organ or organism becomes more and more complex by the differentiation of its parts. It is a continuous process and progressive change take place according to certain environmental laws, for example Darwin's law of evolution by natural selection, and by means of residential forces. Evolution shows sudden changes or mutations in the organism's body. The theory of origin of a species explains that today's existing organisms on this earth are the result of descent with modification from those of the past times. That is, all the living organisms existing today on the surface of the earth came into existence as a result of evolution. So evolution is a living force and a living process. An example of coevolution is of flowering plants and associated pollinator animals, for example bees, birds and other pollinating insect species are examples of coevolutionary agent. Now we see what is symbiosis. Symbiosis is a biological association of two individuals or population of different species classified as mutualism, commensalism or parasitism, depending on the advantage or disadvantage derived from the relationship. What is parasitism? A relationship between two species in which one member, the parasite, lives at the expense of the other, that is host. Now what is parasitoid? In parasitological study, parasitoid is an animal that deposits eggs and renders its developmental stages on another animals, in the body of another animals or on the body of another animals. An immature parasitoid feeds on host tissues and eventually kills its host. What is commensalism? Commensalism is an interspecific symbiotic relationship in which two different species are associated, wherein one is benefited and the other animal neither benefited nor harms. For example, remora fish attached on the heads of a shark gets chunks of food while shark is eating on smaller fishes. So another example of this commensalism is egret's bird eating insects on the body of grazing cattle. Mutualism, it is an association between two organisms of different species in which each benefits from each other. For example, nitrogen fixing bacteria, that is nitrogen fixing bacteria in nodules of leguminous plants. Among other interspecific adaptation in animal world are as follows. Camouflage. Camouflage occurs when an animal's color pattern helps to hide the animals. Cryptic coloration is a type of camouflage that occurs when an animal takes on color pattern in its environment to blend in with the surrounding environment. Countershading is a kind of camouflage common in frog and toad's eggs to hide from the predators. That is two type of shading on their eggs. That is upper side is dark to hide on the forest floor on the surface of water from the predator looking from upward. Now aposematic coloration and mimicry. Aposematic coloration is the advertising by an animal to potential predator that it is not worth attacking or eating up by him. This unprofitability may consist of any defense which makes the prey difficult to kill and eat its prey, such as toxicity, venom, foul taste or smell, sharp spines, or aggressive nature of the prey itself. Mimicry. What is mimicry? When one species resembles one or more other species in which protections from predator is afforded, the mimic species deceive the animate agents of natural selection. Batesian mimicry, a kind of biological resemblance in which a dangerous organism, the model, equipped with a warning system such as conspicuous coloration, is mimicked by a harmless organism, the mimic. The gain is the protection because predator mistakes it for the model and leave it alone. In this way, the animals is protected from predations. So Batesian mimicry is a kind of mimicry which is very profitable for the prey to escape from the predator. So in this diagram we see a lizard must be a chameleon. Its color is exactly just mimic by the dry leaf colorations, just dark gray color of the dead leaf is matched with the coloration of the body of this chameleon. So it is very just difficult to determine or locate it by the prey in this situation. Mullerian mimicry, a kind of mimicry of biological resemblance in two or more noxious organisms, exhibit closely similar warning system such as the same pattern of bright coloration. For example, 6 species of heliconous butterflies resembles each other, and when a bird eats one butterfly and finds its taste very foul or unattracting in the future, this birds will never eat any of the butterflies, out of 6 butterflies, never any bird will eat a single butterflies because of his previous bad experience of bad taste of one butterfly. Here is an example of those butterflies which have resemblance, and any bird eating one butterfly will never eat another butterfly among these 6 butterflies because of bad taste he had experience by eating one among these 4 butterflies. Self-mimicry. In this type of mimicry, one body part mimics another body part to increase survival chances during an attack and helps predator appear harmless. For example, eye spot, not actual eye, but eye-like spot also help prey escape predator by giving predator false targets. In this way, just any spot or any scar or any mark on the body and deceives the predator to escape successfully.